people are asking me to run, and there's a whole story about running for a third term. I don't know. I never looked into it. They do say there's a way you can do it, but I don't know about that.
US President Donald Trump cannot run for a third term as president, barring changes to the US Constitution. But that has not stopped him from openly flirting with the idea. He has floated it both publicly and privately, and over the weekend he said he was not joking about it. In an interview with NBC News, he insisted that there were methods to circumvent the two-term limit as set out by the 22nd Amendment of the US Constitution. He even said that he would like the idea of running against Barack Obama in 2028, as both men would be seeking a third term.
If you were allowed, for some reason, to run for a third term, is there a thought that the Democrats could try to run Barack Obama against you?
I'd love that.
For his third term?
Boy, I'd love that. That would be a good one. I'd like that.
But Obama has not shown any inclination to run for a third term, even as the Democrats seem to be in a bit of a funk post the Trump election win back in November. No American president since Franklin Delano Roosevelt has had more than 2 terms in office, since they are barred expressly by the Constitution's 22nd Amendment from running for office beyond 2 terms. But Trump is cut of a different political cloth. His frequent teasing about a possible third term also serves a deeper political purpose, irrespective of whether or not he can run or whether he will actually decide to run. They redirect attention from the other controversies plaguing his administration, like the leaked signal chats in which his top national security advisors inadvertently included a journalist in a group chat which discussed about an upcoming military operation. They also freeze the field of potential successors who may try to steal the spotlight from a lame duck president. That is a status that no American president wants to find himself in, a status that is dreaded because presidents would see their relevance diminish if they become a lame duck. Now, back in January, just before Mr. Trump took office, House of Representatives member Andy Ogles of Tennessee, a Republican, had proposed a long-shot amendment to the Constitution to make Trump eligible for a third term. But on Capitol Hill, top Republicans have rejected the idea of changing the Constitution. They even suggested that President Trump was only joking. The top-ranking Republicans in both the House and the Senate have rejected the idea of changing the Constitution to enable a third term for President Trump. White House officials have also suggested the same line, saying that Trump did not actually bring up this topic. It was only responding to questions when asked by reporters that he talked about the possibility of a third term.
Look, you guys continue to ask the president this question about a third term, and then he answers honestly and candidly with a smile, and then everybody here melts down about his answer. The president talked about this last night on the plane. He said, it's not really something we're thinking about. He has 4 years. There's a lot of work to do. We've done a lot in these nearly first 100 days, and the American people love what this president is doing, particularly when it comes to efforts to secure the border.
Trump's strategy also, on the one hand, is to try and keep people guessing. It keeps people on their toes. The people on the left, of course, go crazy hearing about a third term, and it's going to put other people who may want to run on a Republican ticket on notice that, look, Trump is not going away in a hurry, that he's going to be around on the political horizon much longer than we think he will. So just a few months into his second term, he has declared a broad mandate to reshape the federal government. He's demonstrated an expansive view of executive power. He's signed hundreds of executive orders in the last 2 months plus that he's been in office. He has also shown disdain for other branches of government like the judiciary, which may try to restrain him. The US Constitution expressly rules out any president having a third term. The 22nd Amendment states, and I quote, "No person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected shall be elected to the office of president more than once," unquote. Changing the Constitution would be a laborious task. It would require a 2/3 approval from both the Senate and the House of Representatives. It will also require ratification from 3/4 of the country's state-level governments. Trump's Republican Party controls both chambers of Congress, the House and the Senate, but they do not have the requisite 2/3 majorities in either chamber. The Republicans currently control the Senate 51 to 49, and in the House they have 219, which is the thinnest majority in modern American history. Additionally, the Democratic Party, the main opposition party, controls 18 out of the 50 state legislatures, so getting 3/4 support there is also out of question. But Trump supporters say there is a loophole in the Constitution, something that is so far untested in the courts of law. They argue that the 22nd Amendment only explicitly bans someone being elected to more than 2 presidential terms. It does not say anything about a succession. Now, under this theory, Trump could be the vice presidential running mate to another candidate. He could be the vice presidential ticket for J.D. Vance running as president in the 2028 election. If that ticket wins, if Vance and Trump win in 2028, then the candidate who would be at the top of the ticket, which is Vance, would be sworn into the White House and then immediately resign, thereby allowing Trump to take over by succession. So the takeover is not by election, but by succession. This is something that some Democrats had suggested to Joe Biden to do in the lame duck period between November and January, after Trump won the election but before he took office, so as to enable the then Vice President Kamala Harris to become the president. The last US president elected to more than 2 terms was Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who was elected 4 times. He died 3 months into his 4th term in April of 1945. After Roosevelt died, the 22nd Amendment got codified into law that no one can run for president a 3rd time. That law was followed in letter and spirit by some of the most successful American presidents, from Eisenhower to Reagan to Clinton to Obama. And that is something that Trump could very well change in 4 years' time.